Assembly 3006B. Rules Report Number 19 Budget Bill, an act to amend the education law. I hereby certify to an immediate vote Andrew M. Cuomo, Governor.
Mr. Speaker, will you call the House to order?
The House will come to order. We'll have a little settling down. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, colleagues, for what I know has been a stressful few hours, but we're making progress, hopefully, and we appreciate the members of Ways and Means and Rules for...
Mr. Paul in positive. Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To explain my vote, I have two words for Governor Cuomo. Thank you. Thank you for taking on the most entrenched special interest in this state.
I will be proudly supporting this measure.
Thank you very much. I'm voting in the affirmative.
So I cast my vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Hold my nose and vote yes.
Vote,
I am
Mr.
going
Bronson.
to be supporting this bill and voting in the affirmative.
Draw my request and I vote in the positive. Thank you.
So, Mr. Speaker, it is with a heavy heart that I will be voting in the affirmative.
Environment, I vote in the affirmative.
The bill I vote for in the affirmative tonight emphasizes that the critical role of deliberating education policy must be overseen by the regions and the local schools.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I vote in the affirmative.
I proudly vote for this budget.
If not for this Assembly majority, we'd be in a worse place. And for that, I vote in the affirmative.
I vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Ms. Roberts.
For that reason, Mr. Speaker, I'll be voting in the affirmative.
So I'm not going to stand up here and play this game about poor kids not being able to learn. Because when you look at Belgrade, Florida, when you look at Miami, you look at the South, kids learn.
I'm casting my vote in the affirmative on this today. It's not a perfect product.
I'm going to vote in the affirmative.
And so it is with a heavy heart that I support this bill. Thank you.
We need to hold them accountable as a legislature and hope for the best.
That it is wrong to vote against it in my mind.
We will live to fight another day to make a lot of the corrections here and to advance this in the right way. But because of this ethics progress, I will vote in the affirmative.
And so, Mr. Speaker, with some sadness, I vote yes on this budget bill.
I'm going to reluctantly vote for this bill.
So with that, I want to take this time to vote in the affirmative.
I'm casting my vote in the affirmative.
Engage in interacting with our border regions, because now more than ever, they need our support. They need us to work together with them as partners in government.
I am voting in the affirmative on this very, very progressive piece of legislation for our children.
Because that's what we need to change.
How do you vote, Ms. Fahey?
In the meantime, I vote in the affirmative.
So I certainly am happy to be voting yes for this bill.
Mr. Speaker, in the strongest possible terms, I urge a no vote on this bill. There is simply no reason we need to proceed with this bill. We can redo it, we can rework it, we can listen to the stakeholders involved, and that is the parents, the teachers, and yes, the children of the state of New York. Those children, by the way, that the governor said he was going to be the lobbyist for.
And we're using a one-size-fits-all approach. I represent some very good schools. Our teachers are good. Our schools are good. And yet they're being punished for some schools that are struggling around the state. For these reasons and many others, I vote in the negative.
The definition of insanity, I think they said, is doing the same thing over and over and wondering why there's not different results. We keep doing it. The time is now. As my colleague said, there's still time. There's still time to do the right thing. There's still time to stand up and say, no, this is not a good bill. It's just not. So I encourage my colleagues, let's stand up. Let's put a stop to it. Let's say no. I'm saying no. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Crying while they were doing their homework. I can't get out of my mind parents reaching out to us and saying, help us. Stop this nonsense.
Therefore, until we start listening and start acting, I will be voting no on this bill, and I urge you all to please vote no, send this bill back to the governor, and let's start over.
And again, I would like to say that I'll be voting in the negative. I'd like to encourage all of you to do the same.
It is not acceptable as a co-equal branch of government, and it is not acceptable to the people of the state of New York.
For all of those reasons, I will be voting in the negative tonight.
Until this body and the man on the second floor recognizes the fundamental relationship between a teacher and a student is more than test scores, we will never get it right. I am voting against this bill, and I encourage all my colleagues to do the same.
92 noes, 54.
The bill is passed.
In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.